afternoon. Darrell Johnson, 32 years old. Born and raised in Harlem. Good to meet you too. I got a lot of experience. I worked in food service, maintenance and janitorial, plumbing and heating, a little bit of electrical. I've done shipping and receiving, painting and sheetrocking, you name it. My strengths? I'm dependable, hardworking, good with people. I take pride in my work. Oh, and I'm a team player too. My biggest weakness? Well, I could be very outspoken sometimes, and that ain't good, you know? But I'm working on it. Like figuring out when it's appropriate to speak up or when I just need to, you know, chill. Oh, that means be quiet. Oh, you knew that already. Okay. It's just that I have a really strong sense of fairness, you know? Well, life ain't always fair. I tell my son Tariq that all the time. He just thinks he can do what he wants, like he's a grown man. He doesn't understand things is really bad out here and he can't afford to slip. You know what I mean? He just thinks he can do crazy shit and it won't catch up to him. I'm like, son, you ain't got it like that. I know you think you're a player, but you ain't. Go to school, keep your head up, do what your teacher tells you to do. Make something of yourself. How old's my son? He's 14, going on 35. And I'm just trying to keep him from the streets, you know, for making the same mistakes I'm in. I'm sorry. You want to talk about the job, right? My conviction. I was convicted of criminal possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell. You want to know what happened? I don't know how you grew up, but in my house and in my neighborhood, things was very difficult. My mother was a good woman and she worked hard to keep me and my brother off the streets. But she had this boyfriend who lived with us and he was very abusive. He was caught up in drugs and did everything he could to make our life a living nightmare. Like he'd bring all kinds of crazy people into the house while my mother was at work and they'd be sitting around getting high and fighting and crashing up the place. I remember barricading me and my little brother in the bedroom so we would be safe because you never really knew if things would get out of hand or if someone was packing. We'd be crouched in the corner behind the bed for hours. We'd be starving, and I'd want to go in the kitchen and make us something to eat, but I was too scared to move. And my mother come home and see the place all destroyed, and they start fighting. One thing would lead to another, and he start beating on her. I remember the night he slashed her face. She said it was an accident, but that was it for me. I started working on my mother, trying to convince her to leave, and finally, she agreed. For the next 2 years, we moved from one housing project to another, trying to stay 2 steps ahead. But somehow, he would always find us. He'd even show up at my mother's job and turn it out so bad she'd get fired or be too embarrassed to go back. So I tried to get a job to help out, but nobody would hire me. It's like they were afraid I was going to rob them or kill them or something. So finally, I just had to do what I had to do. A kid from around my way connected me. I started running with the fast crowd, hustling, weed mostly, and a few other things. Eventually, I got arrested. Honestly, back then, I didn't give a damn about the law. I was just trying to feed my family. My girlfriend at the time, now my wife, was pregnant. But the Rockefeller thing, yeah, well, because that was my second offense, they threw the book at me, gave me the maximum sentence, charged me as an adult. I was only 17. Because I got arrested, I missed Tariq's birth, and they gave me 15 years. But while I was incarcerated, I got my GED. I got a certificate in food service, learned how to paint and sheetrock, taught other inmates how to read, and got certified as a job training and readiness coach. So now I'm out, and I've been looking for a job for the last 8 months. And it's been really hard, you know? I've responded to 68 inquiries, filled out 39 applications, and only gotten called for 3 job interviews, all of which have come through this program. Everybody's looking for work right now, so it's real competitive. People go right to the conviction section of the application and won't even see me. That's all? Well, thank you for the opportunity to interview. I believe I could do a really good job for you if given a chance.
Thank you.